All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the streaming of the Youth World Cup. We have a very special guest, one of the best bowlers out there in the world today, PBA start, Jesper Svensson. Jesper, thanks for being up here with us.
Absolutely, that was a nice introduction. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, looking forward to see some of the women here go at it. Um, did some commentary yesterday on the boys side of things, but yeah, I'm excited to see here how the women handle the pressure of this being the day we draw the cut to
Hmm.
the top 16, and as you guys probably know in the standings, a lot of people with the opportunity to make a move today. So yeah, about halfway through the first game already. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the today plays out.
Yeah, we had on the previous squad, it looked like things were going to be one way, and then at the very end of the squad, things kind of shaked around. And 6 games is a very, very long day. I mean, we have the fresh conditions now, then we have to adapt to whatever the transition is going to be. Pressure obviously is going to be in play today again. We have some, we could say some of the girls have already secured the spot on the final because they really have a lot of pins ahead. But at least there's 8 to 10 bowlers that still could make it up or jump down. So it's going to be quite interesting. We're gonna have a lot of things to comment on the following games, and we gladly join you. We gladly ask you to join us, and you want to pop up any questions, and just go ahead. We are here for all of you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna keep a close eye on the comment section as well through the stream. So yeah, feel free to post your questions, and we will try our best to answer them to the best of our abilities. But yeah, like I said, looking forward to follow the action here and also to interact with all the guys at home watching the stream. So feel free, and yeah, we see some good games already here to start the day off.
It's a lot
Um,
of striking happening, that's for sure. There's a lot
yeah.
of talent in the lanes.
Oh,
So
it's amazing to see, and
some of the
myself as a
girls.
two-handed player, I see a lot of the girls are using two hands as well, and that's pretty cool to see. For a long time, it hasn't been that common with two-handed bowling on the women's side, so it's great to see, and to pair that up with some really solid one-handed players, it's definitely a lot of talent out there, that's for sure.
That's a lot of talent going on. It's a lot of pressure also as well, since it's the last qualifying day. And we can see some of them have started the games a little bit of under pressure, I would say. I could see a few misses in, probably due to, that lack of confidence of the first couple of shots until you calm down a little bit and then you start trusting the ball and sending it out to the friction. By the way, since we talk a little bit about the lanes, we had kind of a show yesterday with young kids from Sweden and some of you guys, the best bowlers in Sweden and PBA stars. And Jasper, you had the chance to try actually the current pattern that they are bowling on. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, it was first off, it was a great event last night. We had a great time together with the youth, the local youth here, and also some of the athletes competing in this event. They stayed around for a little bit and hung out, and it's great to interact with the younger generation. But yeah, we got to try the pattern for that event, and yeah, definitely it for me. I mean, I like to play the outside, so it was pretty nice. And then the length of 43 feet kind of makes it to where you have a decent amount of hold. So if you could get your angles correct through the front part of the lane, it's definitely strikeable on the fresh. But then as the block goes on, you have to be able to adjust to that transition and keep a close eye who you're following and what they are doing and all that. So yeah, that coach and player relationship in this event is a big key to success, in my
Kind
opinion.
of crucial. I mean, you really need to trust your bowler, and the bowler needs to trust the coach. And sometimes when you're a little bit under pressure and you get that feeling of I need to do things instead of I just want to do the things and I can do the things, the brain wants to kind of collapse a little bit, and then you surely need the help of your coach to settle you down, and probably with a better perspective from behind. They don't have the same pressure as you have, so it's going to be a little bit easy for them to see and help you find out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what could you do better.
Yeah, of course. And then at this point of the event, they have bowled already 12 games plus the practice sessions and everything. So the player itself probably have a pretty good idea of what they have to do, especially on the first pair here on the fresh. And but then, like I said, the coach to maybe keep a close eye on the next pair
Where are you
or
going?
something like that. Could be you don't have to waste any frames of trying to get lined up on the next pair. You already have a pretty good idea what to do when you go pair to pair. Um, Especially with the amount of urethane being used, pair to pair can be a little bit funky at times.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see here how it's going to play out, and if we can see some characteristics of the scoring pace going up and down. I feel like on the boys, the it was a lot of strikes on the fresh, and then they struck a lot late in the block. But those game three, game four kind of slowed down a little bit, and that's probably when most of them hit the transition and had to adjust to that. And then they got right back on track and got lined up and had a good finish to the day. So yeah, we'll see here how the girls are doing with that. But as of right now, I feel like it's about taking the most advantage of the fresh, because the fresh seem to be pretty nice for them.
It feels to me like they get a little bit of a easier go through the heads, and they get a little bit more of a back end reaction at the beginning of the. Not much urethane has been thrown down the back, so it's not really getting that wet yet at the bottom. And since they have a little bit of less speed than the boys, it's always good that they, if the ball skids a little bit and keep, remain a little bit of extra energy for the back of the lane.
Yeah, and also the fronts won't be as beat up either. You can definitely, the straighter you can be through the front, probably on the fresh will give you the best reaction as of right now. But then if it starts to hook a little bit earlier with all the traffic, it's more of how you adjust to that. But
I guess
yeah,
it becomes a little bit more tricky for the ladies when it's a little bit of traffic going down the lane, because it's a little bit harder for them to just swing it out, open up a lot the lane and the line. And sometimes, probably, if they go a little bit too deep inside with those urethane balls, they're going to miss a little bit of energy at the back of the lane. So they're going to have a lot of weak tens or weak sevens for the lefties. And at the same time, they don't want to move themselves too far outside, because if they lack the speed, then the ball's going to read a little bit too early. It's going to start jumping, and they're going to feel like, oh, I'm running out of room. And then if you start doubting yourself, then it becomes even tougher.
and then as always, the to cover frames, make your spares and don't give away too many pins. As we said earlier, the standings are pretty tight. A lot of girls with a chance to make this cut, and a lot of things can happen in 6 games. So the least amount of pins you give away by missing spares and stuff like that is definitely crucial. So
The closer we get to the cut, the most important every single pin is. I mean, you don't want to be out of the cut for one pin and you just miss one single pin here and there, and then you're going to remember about it for the rest of the year.
yeah, for sure. And
Okay, we're getting close to the end of game one. This is some high games, some in between. We have a 238 for Maya.
yeah,
She
that's
looks like
big
she
for
found a comfy area. on fresh
that's
this time.
big for Maya there. She was right around that cut line. Um,
She
and
was hitting at 11th,
yeah,
195.3
her
average.
game her game 13 is already in there. We get really quick updates on the scoring boards here. Um, but yeah, to start the day for the girls, the cut line average was 190.9. So that's probably a
You think is it gonna go up?
it's tough to say,
Hard to
but
say,
it's
right?
hard to say,
It
very
depends
hard to say. But
on
we're
what
definitely
goes on
gonna
with.
keep an eye on that and see where that average goes to throughout the day here. Um, but I am pretty confident that there will definitely be some movement in the standings now with the pressure and everything. And also at the top we see Jenny from Norway, really good player. Started the day with 235. She is cruising. She was already at the top to in the top three at least, I believe, to start the day. So she's cruising right now and can enjoy her afternoon of just keep bowling well and execute.
It's actually fun about Jenny because she's a one-handed bowler. She's using urethane, and I had the chance to interview her after squad one and squad two because she was on top three, and she actually has been using a tactic a little bit. We have seen more on some of the boys. She started pretty far outside, then she followed the line a little bit with the transition, but she didn't kept moving in and in and in. After game three, game four, she has been going back to the outside, just increasing a little bit the speed, so she could use the hold over there. And actually, both of the first two squats, she ended up pretty high.
Yeah, that tells you that she knows what she's doing. She's comfortable and she's making those right calls together with her coach probably, and they have a good understanding of how they need to play the lanes. So yeah, very impressive performance so far, and been fortunate enough to watch Jenny for a little bit bowling. She's bowling in the Swedish league actually, and she's doing really well there too. So big talent from Norway that we will see a lot of in the future, I'm sure, around here in Europe and the rest of the world. So it's gonna
She's
be
super consistent, definitely. I mean, when you see her game, she's super consistent.
yeah, really good.
A lot of accuracy, good balance, good release.
Yeah.
The timing is pretty good. Never early. And I'd like to talk about a little bit of Colombia because they just started in game two. She was very high on day one. She started pretty well yesterday, but then she found some, let's call it ugly transition. She found a lot of oil at the back of the lane and her ball stopped working. And for some reason, they didn't move that far out, at least not the break point. She kept moving kind of parallel, and she didn't start that high today. But now, as soon as they moved to the next pair, I just saw they jumped nearly 5 boards to the right, both the target and the breakpoint, and the ball did look a lot better. So I think she may be back on track.
Yeah, let's see. I think she bowled at
Less
least
than
over
around
2-0,
7-8.
2-0 something the first game, which is not a bad game. It's a decent game, and she probably spent her afternoon yesterday of trying to find a little bit better solution of how to handle that transition. So yeah, we'll see how she does today. It seems like she have had some good starts to her blocks in the tournament so far.
Yeah, she did
But
very
like you
good on
said,
fresh,
yeah,
definitely.
250 to start yesterday, 201 to start today. So yeah, we'll see what information she gathered yesterday and how she handled that same situation today, because it will most likely be similar of what she's seen yesterday. So hopefully she have found a way to manage that part of the block a little bit better today. And yeah, she's sitting comfortably in fourth place right now. So she's also cruising as of right now.
And the biggest comeback yesterday by far was by United States. She had a very rough
Amazing bowler.
first squat, but yesterday she rocked the alley.
Yeah,
I think she shot at least 80 pins more than any other competitor on the squad yesterday. She was really, really high.
yeah, some really impressive work there, and as we all know, that the bowlers from the United States that represent Team USA, they have very good knowledge about the game and solid physical game and everything. And yeah, she's definitely one to watch out for here for the other girls for the rest of the event. She will
And she
definitely
does it
be up
very
there.
good. I mean, she's got the speed on the leg, she's got very good timing, good release, good power. It looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah, really good, really good.
We had the change in the lead at the moment. Norway standing on the first place after a 235. Denmark held okay with a 205 on the second spot, and Costa Rica dropped down to the third place. She shot 188. I'm gonna try to find it on the.
I
What
think
is she going
she
now?
were on
I
17,
wonder, is she
18.
using
Yeah,
urethane or
17,
did she
18.
move to reactive already?
Actually, yesterday was the first time I ever seen her bowl, I think,
Hmm?
and I was impressed. She has
Very strong technique, yeah.
very, very strong technique and good timing, and she can, you know, through good timing and good speed, she can create a lot of power and rev rate, which is definitely beneficial a lot of times. And yeah, it's going to be fun to see.
And she has a solid spur game as well.
Yep.
It's one of those that really change the wrist position and does nothing to it on the spell ball so that her ball
Yeah, let's
has
see.
the
She just
speed and doesn't
opened
hook
here
at
the
all.
first frame of game number 2, but it was a 3-6-9-10, and that could be an ugly spare for just about anybody. So um, we give her a little break on that.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely, absolutely.
because those multi-pin leaves, like if you just leave enough of them, you're gonna miss some of them, and that's just facts. But it's more the single pins that you really need to make those spares
It's one
the
of the
most
spurs I hate
times.
the most. 3, 6, 9, 10. I always
Yeah,
end up chopping one of them.
it's a tough one for sure. I
And Denmark
remember
stays
Mr.
pretty solid. I mean, she stays out there with the purple hammer on the left side. She bowls
Yeah,
pretty smooth. She seems to be in calm all the time,
yeah.
always with a smile. Even if something goes a little bit wrong, she turns around with a pretty smile, like totally in control of what she's doing.
And then being left-handed as well, she probably won't see as much transition, that she can just camp out there on the gutter for the most part, I would think. Um, See, there are only a few lefties on the squad here, so she's definitely also enjoying the experience, I believe, out here. She's doing just fine. But here we see on for Jenny on lane number 8, I believe it is. Yes, starting this game with 2 opens after that very good first game, and that's that. Just maybe a little bit of transition that happened already, and that moving pair to pair can trick with your mind a little bit. And we'll see here
Yeah, we see
if she
also
finds a way to bounce
overcome,
back
yeah,
here. Yeah,
overcome that one. We see Maya also. She shot 235. She just moved to lane. Is it 3 and 4?
yeah,
Yeah, 3 and 4. She's
yeah.
got
The
no strike yet.
weak 7 pin right there.
It
Probably
looks
the
like maybe
ball.
it's a little bit longer on this bird than it was on the previous one. We have
Yeah,
been
the ball
seeing
might have
during
rolled
the.
out a little bit and goes a little bit forward into the pins, like we normally talk in those terms of reading the ball motion. And it looked to me as the ball went a little forward and didn't quite have enough angle and power through the pins. And we all have our own little tricks
Change
to
that, yeah.
manage that and just try to slightly change the angle.
Do you want to share any of your tricks for the young ones listening so they can test back home and learn something from one of the best out there?
Well, it could be various things for different situation, but
Hand position,
hand position,
speed
ball speed,
control.
and then The one thing I also do is we always, when we're in the US competing, they call it just skip the front a little bit, and that means
Bounce it a little
to
bit
just
deeper.
loft it a little. It only takes a slightly little bit to make a pretty big difference on, because obviously Maya, for example, here it's close, it's just not enough through the pins, so it doesn't take much to just get that little edge again to where it will run the 8 pin over. So a little bit of loft can be definitely one thing that changes the angle just enough, and it's also one of my go-tos because it's a move that I feel comfortable doing.
But we're talking about small loft,
Very, very small.
not crazy. Because
Very,
we
very
see a lot
small.
of the young kids today, like they probably have seen Chris too much, and they start bouncing the ball 40
Yeah,
feet
no,
down the
very,
lane,
very,
45 feet down the lane.
yeah,
It's
very,
like,
very small. And then, like I said, hand position, speed control is always a big key, even if you try to throw it a little bit faster, a little bit slower, or your normal speed. If you can be accurate with your speed and throw it the same speed all the time, that's a big, big step. And by the time because I used to throw it really, really hard, and
Oscar style.
pretty much, yeah. And then by the time I found my way to adjust my speed and be consistent with my speed, my whole career changed, and that definitely took me to the next level at the time. So
Costa Rica is having a bit of issues. She's fighting to get the ball into the right spot of the lane, and she has a couple of open frames, actually. 3 open frames to start. So she had 188 on game 1, and now she started with 3 open frames.
yeah,
It
you can't
may,
give them too much props; they fall apart.
yeah, definitely. That's another thing I would like to ask. I mean, I haven't bowled seriously for quite a big amount of years, but back in the day when I bowled, like seriously, I bowled the Weber Cup, I bowled the Walton Pin Masters 3 times, I bowled a few other TV shows, and not as many as you, obviously. But my question is, I remember even one very particular time, I bowled the semi-final of the Walton Pin Masters with Thomas when he was coaching me. He was like the big brother and my teacher in a way. And I remember he started, left the 10 pin, he missed it, which is not normal for him. Then I left the 10 pin, I missed it as well, and we all looked at each other like, what's going on? And I have to admit that I'm going to be very open about it. It was the pressure. I felt the pressure on the first two or three frames. So every time I bowled on TV, after those 2 or 3 frames, at least that was how it worked for me. I cooled down, I gained control again, and it was fine. It felt like I was bowling on my own or I was bowling back on my bowling alley. Does it affect you still when you do so many TV shows? Do you still feel a little bit of the pressure on the first 2 or 3 shots, or you're already over that?
No, definitely, I will never get over that. It's always the same edgy feeling, and you know,
Butterflies in the
oh
stomach
yeah,
a bit, yeah?
it's always always there, and yeah, it could be a rough feeling, but at the same time, if you're not nervous, something is wrong, in my opinion. The day I'm not nervous going out to bowl a TV show, yeah, then I'm probably
That means you're done.
hang him up. So it's definitely just one of those things that you need to learn and find your own ways to manage and accept that you're nervous. It makes sense that you are nervous and not trying to push those emotions away, but to find ways to perform with those emotions. And yeah, there. Of course, the first couple of shots are the worst, but then also on the PBA tour, for example, I always know that when there are commercial breaks after 5 frames,
Hmm.
coming out of commercial strong is just as important as a good start because that's when the game is going to be decided. That's after the commercial. So it's always another key moment of the matches, typically on TV. Um, but then it also goes so fast on TV, especially on the PBA tour when you have your shot clock at 24 seconds and
You need to speed up, and
you don't have too much time to just stand around and think too much. You need to go. Um,
you need to be aware to call a timeout or ask
yeah,
for a re-rack if something is. So it's a lot of things you actually have to pay attention. Not only the match, not only the opponent, not only yourself, not only the lane changing, but the nerves, the rhythm.
yeah, and it's a lot about being aware of your your emotions and where you're at and in your moves and everything. If you have to try to gain as much control as you can over the situation will be a good help, and that could also be a good way to settle those nerves a little bit. But the nerves are definitely going to be there regardless.
You use any special technique? I've heard a little bit of everything, from those who close their eyes and pray to those who take deep breaths. I've heard some of them also that they kind of compress their stomach so they can try to keep the nerves under
No,
control.
it's
It's many different ways,
yeah.
but
When I get set on the approach, normally I just take a deep breath, and that's a sign to myself that okay, I'm ready to go. And then it's just about perform a good shot at that point. But that is like my trigger to make sure I'm ready. And but I think I do that almost every time I bowl, not only on TV, but that's kind of my trigger always to take a deep breath just before I start moving.
that's very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of things you guys can learn from people like Jesper. He's got a lot of experience. He's been bowling worldwide, bowling everywhere. And all those little tricks and things he's commenting. I think it's good for you guys, so you can learn, you can use, you can try on your own. It's pretty interesting. Um, on the morning when I was talking with Joachim, I said there's a lot of people still today complaining about the two hands because hey, they shouldn't bowl like this, shouldn't bowl like that. For me, I never bowl two hands. I always bowl one hand. It's way too late for me to try to bowl two hands. I don't have the speed. I'll never have it. But I'm not complaining about it. I mean, I compared it with the high jump when they usually jumped forward and all of a sudden, right, jump backward, 50 more than the other ones, and then everyone realized like, ooh, maybe we should start jumping that way. And maybe since I'm a little bit old and I bowled on the times of the wooden lanes and where each lane was completely different topography and the lanes needed to be resurfaced once a year, and especially in the south of Europe that happened once every 10 years, not every year. So you could see the oil was slipping away through the boards and stuff like that. But in a way, it feels to me that if I would take the best players of you, two-handers, and put you back on the 70s, 80s type of bowling, maybe you would struggle a little bit more. But on the other hand, there's so many things that you guys can do that we could have never done in terms of reps, in terms of angles, in terms of opening up the lanes. I mean, I have to go back to the 80s, and maybe I could say Amleto or Robert Smith were up there. Up here it was Rosenquist, Tony. But not that many bowlers could produce such an amount of rep rate. It was a little bit more of accuracy and repetition than it is today. But also, on the other hand, today you have to pay a lot more attention to whatever the pins are doing. Back then, to bowl 220 to 25 was enough to make top three anywhere. Today, when you bowl 225, you don't even make any cut anymore. So, what do you think about that? Do you think that the game has evolved in a way that it actually should be easier to bowl two hands than one hand nowadays?
Uh,
Hard to
well,
say. I
yeah,
mean, it's goods and bads, but
yeah. I mean, to the people that complain about two-handed bowling, I'm not gonna say what I want to tell those people on stream, but it's I think it's more about develop to today's game, right? I mean, I can't speak for what was in the 80s or 90s even. The game was different back then, sure. And that's why I've always said that I have the utmost respect for Walter Ray, Norm Duke, Pete Weber. Those guys have been on top of the world through so many different eras of bowling, and that is amazing. But they have also been able to adapt to all the different stages of the game, and that, in my opinion, is really, really impressive. But as far as two-handed bowling goes, I think that is a way to grow the sport because, as you see on what's going on in front of us, a lot of athletes are using that technique. So that will bring younger kids to the sport. They will have more fun because they can create more rev rates and throw more strikes, and that's gonna keep them bowling. So if we want to grow the sport, we need to support the people that actually bowls, right?
I agree.
So to complain about one technique one way or another, I don't think that is beneficial to the sport as a whole.
No, on the
That we
contrary, we
need,
actually throwing rocks to each other. It's never gonna help us.
yeah, and we get a lot of people while we compete on the PBA tour that think it's cheating and everything, and if it's so easy, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah, and I also
So I try
is
to not focus too much on those negativity or those negative comments or anything like that. It's a part of the game nowadays, and I think it brings more young people into bowling, and that from my perspective, that's a good thing. And then we just have to keep learning and adapting to whatever the sport brings us, because there will be more new eras in the future as it has been in the past. There would be changes. Now we know that the introduction of string pins, for example, that would be one thing. A lot of people hate it right now, but I have tried it and I don't mind it. And if that's the future of the sport, then so be it. And we're gonna
actually
have to
the
learn to adapt to that as well, and we will, because it's not that bad. Like, people are just scared of changes, and
yeah,
that's
definitely,
pretty sad.
definitely.
Like, we need to support bowling as a whole, in my opinion.
I agree completely. I mean, also you spoke about Walter Ray, probably the greatest bowler of all time. People talk now about Jason, obviously, for everything he's done, but still, Walter Ray is number one in titles. And the fact that Walter Ray decided to give it a try, and he
Yep.
bowled before he retired or went to the senior, he bowled for a while with two hands as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get the greatest bowler ever until that point deciding, me too, I'm gonna go for two hands, that should tell you everything. I mean, for me, it's end of discussion.
Yep.
And for me, I've always been a single hand bowler, but if I have to coach a young kid today, unless I really see he's already super good with one hand, and I would, okay, maybe you're good enough and you don't really need to go for two hands because it's in you already. But if I get a brand new kid, I would definitely tell him to go to two hands. I see
Sure.
a lot of advantages in that. For example, when you guys bowl 50 games in 1 week, you don't have to use the thumb, so you don't. When we bowled 50 games in 1 week, our thumb starts swallowing and pain here, pain there. That's number one advantage right away, already in pain and physical feeling. Then the power, a lot more rep rate, a lot less complicated. You never, you save a bunch of money and tapes, definitely.
Yeah. But there are
And
also gonna be other parts of your body that will hurt. It will put some more pressure on your body using two hands and everything. So it's just one of them things that it's free for everybody to do if they want to. Anybody could throw it with two hands if they want. But then look at the best player on the planet right now. That's EJ Tackett. He's using one hand. So
yeah,
obviously you can still win and compete using one hand. So yeah, whatever. To the people that don't like two-handed bowling, I don't really care for those people too much, and
Keep bowling
it's
one
just
hand
a
then.
new era of the
Yeah.
game, and that's that.
All right, we're getting till the end of game 2. We see some striking again. Let's see what goes on.
We see that
Denmark.
the cut average actually stayed exactly the same between the first and second game. That's pretty interesting.
Okay, let's see.
Still 190.9.
Costa Rica made a comeback nicely after 3 open frames.
Yeah, got a nice free bagger there on
She's on the way to
end pair on the right,
still make 200.
and Jenny from Norway went from 235 to 165, and yeah, it's probably got a lot of little loss there on the lane change,
On the lane
and
change,
then
yes.
one game goes by really fast.
The same happened to Maya when she moved to lane 1 and 2. Got a couple of open frames. She made 2 doubles
Yeah,
to save it a little bit for 190.
yeah, that's okay. And we see actually, yeah, the girl from Mexico here, 250 opportunity here in the second game on lanes 5 and 6, and she was actually right below the cut number. And we see a little bit of gap between 16th and 17th spot right now, and she again find herself right below that cut number right now, but with a 250 possible here with a frame to go, could definitely doing some really good for her. So
Oh, she didn't get the
that's
strike,
awesome.
but I think she's gonna
Two.
make the cut because she really struggled on day 1. Yesterday she felt like better. She was starting to score a little bit higher, and it looks like today she started better again as well. So
Yeah, hopefully
probably
she can.
on the way up.
Hopefully she can cover this 610 spare and be in the 230s for game number 2, and she would be right back in the game, which she
Yeah, it's a
does
good
right
spare.
there.
Yeah,
Good
definitely.
cover, good cover. And let's see who else is around the cut number.
England
We can
13. She just
England
shot 224, so
224,
that
good
moved her
game.
a little bit
Really,
up.
really big finish for her with a 5-bagger to finish game 2. Some great work there from Jessica from England. We have
Netherlands and Finland are there. Oh, Finland had
Finland had a
159.
tough
That's a
game.
low
Yeah,
game. She
will
was
be dropping out of the cut. Mexico will pass Finland, and then we have the Netherlands right there. Okay, so she still have her 10 frame to go, and she have a possible 183. So yeah, it's getting close again around that cut number. Czech Republic. Right there, okay. 3 open frames, no double so far this game, but she can. She have a strike in the 9th frame, can double in the 10th for
tried to save a little
170.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, try to save this game as much as possible.
I mean, after all, if the cut is around 190, if you manage to save a bad game of 170 something, you don't lose that much.
Yeah.
United States 253. She's already in top 4 now.
Gotta say though, it makes me so proud to just sit here and the watch the competition. So many countries are represented, and to see the support for this championship in my home country, it's amazing. That's the one thing I've never got to experience is a championship in my home country, and it's amazing that I can sit here and watch the championships from see
So you never
all the
actually got
athletes.
to like a FAQ medal on your homeland in
No,
Sweden.
I played Nordic championships and stuff like that in
Mm-hmm.
Sweden, but I don't really
But
count
no world champs
that.
or
No, no
European
European
champions.
champs or world champs, and hopefully sometime in the future. But
Well, now I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to go to bed and sleep very happy today. I can say I did something that Jesper Svensson has did not. I have a silver medal in Europeans in Malmo in
Oh, there
1998.
you
So
go.
I won
There you
something in
go.
Sweden, yeah. But I also must admit that Sweden is like a second home for me. I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
I
you
have
lived
been
here for a
coming
little
up
bit. Yep.
forever and ever and ever. I was so lucky that you guys kind of adopted me. I was very well treated by some of the best bowlers out there. I mean, I was helped by Mats Karlsson, I was helped by Thomas, I was helped by Ulf Hemnes. Actually, the first time I got a proper bowl drill, it was Ulf Hemnes when he was in Frölunda in
Yeah,
Gothenburg.
he actually lives up in Norway now, and
He's been there
he's been
forever, right?
yeah, he's been
Coaching there
coaching,
since I had hair, so
and
it's been
I
a
think
while.
he yeah, that must have been a long time then. But yeah, he's in charge of the national team up there. Um, so I bet he's really excited to watch Jenny here, for example, and also Matthias on the male side. He's
Hmm.
doing some really good work.
Yeah, amazing. His bowling, unbelievable. I actually asked him where did he get his inspiration to bowl backup, if it was Anthony or if it was Carl.
Yeah,
And actually, it was Carl. I
it
said,
does
I
not
took it from
surprise me.
Carl, and then I go, okay.
All right, we got a comment from Doug here, and ball technology has made a lot of advances over the years, and bowlers can change balls to adjust the lane conditions. That is absolutely correct, Doug. It's the bigger tournament you bowl, the it's gonna be impossible to win a big tournament without having the right equipment. So it's definitely a big key for the players to adapt and learn their equipment to be able to make as accurate calls as possible, not to waste any frames at any given time. Um, and like you said, the technology nowadays is through the roof, and they all inspire each other as far as the ball companies to keep develop even more. And but yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest keys in bowling is to have the right piece in your hands, and that's where the best players in the world are almost the most impressive, not only physically but the knowledge, and
The
they don't.
understanding on what they have on their backs. They know
Yes,
exactly what they're gonna go and pick up on the back, and they know exactly what kind of changes. Sometimes, at least it was for me that way many years ago when not when I bowled for Soma, it was actually when I bowled for Colombia. They used to send me three bowls of each, even if it was amateur bowling. And I remember I always had a longer pin, a medium pin, and a shorter pin. So I would use exactly the same ball, start with the pin in, and then I moved to a little bit longer pin, and then ended up with an even longer pin.
yep,
So I had the pretty much the same layout, if you could say. Just the pin buffer obviously was altering, producing a little bit extra flare and a little bit extra back in reaction. So as I moved a little bit deeper on the line, I would just jump to the next ball and the next ball and the next ball, but not even changing the cover stock, not even changing the core on it. So sometimes, if you agree with me, when you are already on that super high level competition and you are already lined up, you don't want to make those big changes, or not always is necessary to go for those big changes. And as soon as just a matter of a little bit of angle, you don't really need to change to another cover stock all the time, but you don't really need, you can maintain the same ball just with a slightly different layout, and that's going to be that extra feet or extra board. Agree with that?
yeah, of course. And then personally, I mean, I think that people know I like to throw the urethane balls, and like on tour we have the since I'm a uh, since I'm representing Storm products, I have the IQ 78,
Love
and
that ball.
and you know to you will learn what layouts you need when, for the most part, because obviously I have multiple, and it's about finding the right one for me, and you try to maximum flare or reduce some flare and stuff like that, and there's so much you can do with the same particular ball
Mm.
to make it do different things, um, and to add with all the stuff you can do physically to make changes to how the ball reacts. Um, and again, it's about, you know, matching up your equipment with your physical game, and then learn your bag and learn your own tricks and on how you can make educated guesses, um,
And of
as
course, you're
accurate
gonna
as
make
possible.
mistakes. I mean,
Yeah, of
we
course.
we
Yeah,
don't always make the right choice. We can
we
be
lose
wrong,
way
and
more tournaments than we win,
yeah,
and especially
absolutely.
bowling on tour when you're going to try to compete against the best players in the world. If you make, it only takes a few mistakes
To
to
be
be
out.
way behind.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to sum up that question, it's definitely definitely a lot of new technologies, and it's pretty exciting to try to follow along. But it's a lot to try to process and learn for sure.
Do you have any particular layout that you like above others on your IQs?
No, not really. Honestly, it's I've always been a pin up guy because um,
But you got a lot
pin
of speed, though.
yeah, pin down for me always tracks over the fingers somehow, so I don't really mess with that too much. But and then for urethane balls, surfaces are also another thing that we didn't even mention. Surface is probably one of the
Well, it's probably
biggest thing. Yeah,
the
that's
most
definitely
important thing on the ball
yeah,
for at least for
yeah,
the major changes.
yeah.
The biggest impact on it.
But I can't really pick one layout that stands out because
Oh, well, you guys
it
ball
will
in
be a different answer every
so
week.
many. I was gonna say you ball in
Yeah.
so many different conditions and patterns that it has to be different depending on what you're facing on.
Yep. All right, now we have all the results in for game number 2, and
It's very
like we
tight.
said, um,
3 pins. It's in and out.
the cut average actually went down
It
a
went
little bit to
down, yeah, like 1 pin, 188,
189.4.
189.4.
So it went down a little bit. Um,
But there is a bit of a jump between 17th and 18th place. There's 60 pins in there, but 4 games to go. It's enough
yeah,
time to do the comeback
we just seen Mexico went from being about 60 out to now be in the cut.
in the
So
cut.
a lot of things can still happen, and yeah, we have a few girls at the top that definitely are cruising at this point, just sitting comfortably where they're at, and since they're starting from scratch after this block, it's all about trying to sneak in that top 16, and
Just made it to the top and then
yep.
start all over again. And Jenny seems to be moving further out again. She's got a double. That ball was pretty much on board 3 on breakpoint. And Maya is probably moved all the way out to the right now. Yeah, she's on 17, 18.
Yeah, now she has picked up a good amount of ground here, it seems, the first couple of games. She's now somewhat comfortably in the cut with,
Nearly 80
let's see,
pins.
yes. And I believe she started the day about 45 ahead, so 238, 191 for her to start the day. Let's see as the results roll by here, if we have any scores that really stands out for us.
Belgium was pretty close. She had a couple of rough games, so she
Yeah,
went
rough
down a
games
little
there.
bit.
Yeah.
Then we have Alien. She lives up here in Sweden, doesn't she? Gustafsson.
Yeah, I believe so. I think she plays for the local team here. Is that right? Yeah.
So in a way, she's kind of a local,
Yeah.
but with a
Um,
different pattern on the lanes.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Denmark is back on top. As we said, Jenny Mathisen from Norway had a little bit of struggle there in game number
On
2,
the previous game,
and
yeah.
Denmark was right there to take back that lead. And yeah, USA with a big 253 game number 2. consistency for Colombia, 201, 201. Some good work there. Thailand off to a good start, 428 the first two games.
And Denmark is
Australia.
comfy. She's got 4 in a row to start.
Australia 45 over for the two games. Really good. England with a good start. Yeah, we got some nice scores out there from the girls.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, 4 games to go, a lot of things yet to happen, transition yet to arrive.
Yeah, a lot of movements already in the standings. So yeah, definitely some exciting games here to be bold. And we see a couple of free baggers to start game number 3 here. 4-bagger for Denmark on lane. Where are we at? Lane number 9 or 7?
7, 8.
Yeah,
7,
7 and
8
8.
she's
Yep,
standing.
7 and 8. 4-bagger. That's and as we said, she is your current leader.
I guess we could say probably top 8, top 10. Yeah, top 10. They have quite a few pins ahead. They are 150 pins ahead of the cut. So unless they do any crazy stuff, the 10
We
first
can
ladies.
say we hope that they will manage their way to make this cut somewhat comfortably, because if they don't, something
I mean, 150,
have
150
happened.
pins ahead, 4 games to go, and the cut being around 190. That means they have 40 pins per game. If they make 170, 170, 170, 170, should be still enough to make it for those who are already in the top 10. So I guess that's going to give them some relaxed feeling and comfort in the mental part, at least.
Yeah, we'll see how they manage their nerves here coming down the stretch. 4 games to go. Pressure is starting to mount a little bit, and I'm sure the girls are not looking too much at the scoreboards. I think they just pretty locked in at this point, trying to perform
Do their
as
best
good as
and just
possible.
fighting with themselves in a way. Yeah, and definitely from what I saw yesterday, Colombia is way much further to the outside today. She's getting better ball reaction.
Yeah, she got back-to-back 200 games here to start today, so that's definitely some good work there, and I feel like it's about that consistency as well to find across the different pairs and across the transition pairs and everything. It's about finding the consistency will definitely be a big key, even if you are missing out on the really big games. But if you can stay consistent, you don't have to
Stay away from
really be too worried about.
Stay away from problems. Stay away from issues.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Take a little siesta. Sometimes can work as well. It's definitely coffee time for some of them. We're just having some fun up here in the commentators area. But
Yeah, we got a nice room in here where
beautiful sofas.
we have all the pairs in front of us going on at the same time, so we understand if we are not talking about the action that you're currently watching, but we're trying to bounce around a little bit between the pairs, and you will hopefully we'll get to chat about some of your favorite players. But as we said earlier, feel free to leave a comment if you have a topic that you want us to cover.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reminder. We are talking with Jesper Svensson, so it's the biggest opportunity for the fans out there to pop up questions. And, if you have any questions you want to really find out about, not the personal life, but the bowling life, is going to be able to tell you anything about it. Looks like we got a new comment coming up. Question for Jesper. You got to try the pattern yesterday. What are your thoughts on it? It looks very complex and hard.
First off, big funky Swede. I wonder who that is actually. Um, but yeah, we did have the opportunity to bowl on the tournament pattern yesterday, and that was exciting. We had a great event, as we were talking about a little bit earlier here on the stream. But yeah, as a player who really like to keep the ball in front of me and shut down my my angles, so to speak, and keep it fairly straight through the front, it did play pretty nice. I feel like 43 feet is definitely a long enough pattern to where you can have a lot of hold going straight at it. So and there's still some nice friction off of the gutter. Um, so for me, it was right up my alley. I really liked it, but I can definitely see that we just got to bowl on the fresh for the most part. But I can definitely see that the transition can be a little bit tough if it doesn't really bank off that spot the same way, and you start to see some early friction. It could be a little difficult, but on the fresh at least, I could definitely see why the scores are being pretty high.
But I guess it would be fair to say that it's not really the pattern that becomes or its stuff. It's whatever the players are doing on the pattern they're gonna cause it to become easy or hard. Because we have the tendency, especially on amateur bowling, always blame it on the guy of the oil machine. Oh, he did a tough pattern, he did this, he did that. But it actually, the pattern is only the pattern for one shot. After you make one shot, it starts evolving, and the more we bowl on it, the more it's gonna evolve. So whatever you guys do with it, you can make the lanes a lot easier, or you can make the lanes a lot tougher.
Yeah, and then as we see that there will be some challenges they will face throughout the 6 game block, and they will have to try to find ways to keep the same ball reaction. But then you also have to start, when you change your angles, you're still going to manage the back part of the lane to where it will go through the pins correctly. So yeah, it will definitely be some challenges for the players, but I feel like on the fresh is definitely a clear picture of how you can play it.
Okay, we have another question. They are asking of any tips on reading the lanes.
Reading the lanes. Well, in this particular example, or on for the championships, they know the pattern beforehand, and they have the most of the players, I believe, were trying it out during the unofficial practice and also the official practice, and it's a couple of different ways you can do it, but of course trying out the different balls that you brought to the event. But I have a feeling that you will start with your
Benchmark.
benchmark ball, that your kind of go-to ball. And for me personally, I will always try to see how far to the outside I can play and still have somewhat hold, and then see like if I how how much can I move towards the inside part of the lane and still get it to come back if I throw it a little bit to the right. So it's more about trying to find that miss room that you really want to have to really make you as comfortable as possible. But then there are also times on the PBA tour, for example, there could be times where you're really uncomfortable in practice and you don't really find a good solution. And then it's about trying to talk to your coach or friends or something, trying to see if you can get some new ideas and stuff like that. Especially if you're struggling in practice session, you feel like they fly by really fast. But it's yeah, definitely try to be aware of the surroundings as well. See if you can find something on the other players that seems to work pretty good. But as far as your own, you need to try to find that perfect line where you have a little bit of miss room on your preferred room, I guess, because I tend to miss right as a lefty. I tend to miss right more than I miss left. So I would rather try to find the hold than trying to find hook to the left if the pattern is a little bit on the tougher side and you pretty much have to pick one direction or the other. I don't know about you, Louis, but it's for
For me,
me, I feel like every player have their miss, so to
yeah,
speak.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I think we, on this case, what I would say, I would separate tough pattern and professional bowling from league bowling and amateur bowling. I would say 95% of the opens and league tournaments we bowl, it's always going to be some kind of reach and some kind of room to the outside. I'm not going to talk about right and left. I'm going to talk about inside and outside, so both right-handers and left-handers understand what I mean. The only one thing that has not changed in the game is that you always want to find more oil inside your target and you always want to find less oil outside your target. Therefore, when you miss out, you can find extra friction and make the ball come back to the pocket. And when you miss inside your target, you want to find more oil so the ball's going to slide and still get into the pocket. Now, the way I do it, actually, it's very easy. I would recommend you to go and follow, or at least have a view at some of the ball reviews that Chris Barnes is doing on the YouTube, because he usually does exactly what I do. He makes his first shots really far outside, just make sure that the ball has a lot of friction, or how much friction does it have, and then it moves from there. Usually, if you really get used to that, you just need probably 3 frames in order to be more or less aligned. If you put yourself out there in the gutter and the ball is hooking nothing, you definitely don't want to be out there, because you're not going to have any room on the outside. If you put the ball out there in the gutter and the ball just jumps instantly to the left, in my case as a right-hander, or to the right if you're a left-hander, that's going to tell you there's going to be a lot of friction out there. As soon as you know there's friction out there, you know you can swing the ball out there without any issues. After that, all you start doing is moving a little bit deeper, moving a little bit deeper, until you find enough oil so your ball has energy to get through the pins. And you find in a spot where, or you try to find a spot where you can miss mostly onto both sides. uh, I'm the contrary of Jasper. I actually bowl better when I can miss far to the outside, when I can put the ball hanging on the gutter. That's when I feel more comfortable. When I see half the ball hanging in the gutter, that's when I feel happy, because then it's like, okay, I can send it far out there. And since I don't have 600 RPMs, the further outside it's coming, the more pin action I'm gonna get from it. It's the only way I get some messengers. So, but I mean, it's actually very easy if you really get your eyes trained. And when I was very young, actually, I learned that up here in Sweden. I was taught that by Patrick Bowman, and it was not even with real bowling. It was with house bowling. We were gonna bowl some small event in Frölunda in Gothenburg, and I asked him, so what are the lanes? Of course, he was working there, and he knew the lanes, and he knew the pattern, but he didn't tell me the pattern. Instead, he made me have a look at the house bowlers, because as you know, most of them, or at least 50% of them, they don't roll the ball forward, they roll the ball backwards. So the ball is sliding forward, but rolling against the lane instead of forward. And you could see the ball sliding, 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 until to a certain point where the oil was finishing. So the cut of the oil was there. Then the ball finds friction and it stops sliding backwards and it starts rolling forward. That would help train your eyes to at least see the distance on the pattern. The more you get used to visualize what the balls are doing, the better you get to understanding this type of reaction. And then another tip, I know Pete Weber doesn't agree with that. I know he actually hates it, because I've heard it talking about it, about players like me looking at the lanes to try to see how much reflection of the light is in there. And even if he disagrees with that, actually, when you go and look at the lane where there is more oil, you can see the lights brighter. When there is a little bit drier spot, it's more like a dull surface. It doesn't become so bright. So even if it's not an exact science, but by walking into the foul line before the warm up, I can have a look and I can instantly see, is it less oil outside? Is it the same amount of oil? Do I see the lane completely flat? Doesn't it look that flat? And then obviously, of course, nowadays with all the tools we got from Kegel, you just look at the numbers. You go at the paper, you look what's happening from board 2 on the left to board 2 on the right. Let's say we have a pattern of 24 milliliters, and when I look at those numbers from 2 to 2, I see 8 milliliters. That's going to tell me the oil is going from side to side, so I'm not going to expect to have so much friction on the outside. On the contrary, if we have another pattern with 24 milliliters, but when I look at those numbers on that first line and I see, let's say, 1.5, then I know it's a very little amount of oil going from side to side. So that's another way I know it's going to be some extra friction on the outside. But that is only happening for the oil, and as we said before, when the lanes are fresh. As soon as we start bowling on them, we are going to affect that pattern and things are going to develop one way or another. And there is only one more thing that we should think about, which is topography, which is mostly even more important than the oil. Because if the lane is not completely flat, or if the lane is like a N or like a U or like a seagull, it's gonna affect the way the ball reacts as well. So it's a lot of things that you have to take in control and to think about. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the eyes become quicker in understanding what goes on. I mean, you don't even have to throw a ball anymore. You just look at whatever is happening on other bowlers, and you more or less get an idea on what's happening. It's more friction, less friction. It's faster, it's slower, it's shorter, it's longer. I guess that's more or less how I do it.
And then the one thing that is interesting for, yeah, you can get a lot of information, as you say, just by looking at things, the pattern, and then you gain knowledge from going to different places and you know the characteristics of that particular bowling center. But then there's also one thing that was very eye-opening for me starting to bowl on the PBA tour. I'd always bowling back home and around in Europe, you read the lane side to side.
Hmm.
But in the US, it's more about reading the lane front to back. And that is a big difference. And that can be a pretty big collision sometimes if you're talking to your coach or something and the coach is talking side to side while you're seeing the
Talking,
lane front to back.
yeah, front to back.
That is really, really different.
Conflict
And
of
that's,
interest.
yeah, so that's another thing. And I think that's why nobody will ever be perfect. We will always have new things to learn and get better at. And I think that's the most exciting thing about bowling, that you will never know it all.
It's an eternal learning process. It's a
Yep,
continuous evolution.
yep.
Lanes change, bolts change, technique change, oils change, the cleaners change, the machines change. Everything is developing over and over again. So you just have to be aware of those changes and adapt to whatever it's coming into the new game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
All right.
We have
Yeah,
some
we were
higher scoring on this game.
chatting
I see
about.
a few games of 200 and something.
Yeah,
Denmark, she was going for a very high game, even with an open frame on the 10th. She's got 246.
yeah. We're sitting
We have
comfortably up there in the
also
lead as far as I can see. And
Costa Rica went all the way up with a 246.
very good game. And Mexico, yes, another 200 game there, 206.
She's finding a
That's
way up.
nice.
Germany found
Nice.
the track again. She's got 216.
Yeah. And that seems like that's a pretty good game right now.
Maya has been a little bit in an issue for the last couple of games. She hasn't
Yeah,
felt so
180,
comfortable.
182 here. Um, Still in 14th place as of right now.
She's now at 194 average, still
Yeah.
about 3-4 pins above the cut.
See
We'll
here,
see what goes on
the results are
after all
still
of them
coming
are.
in. Um, yeah, it seems like we got our. Let's see. Yeah, still some changes.
Yeah, actually,
So
Finland and Netherlands they exchanged positions because
yep,
Finland shot 6 pins more than Netherlands, so now she's 3 pins ahead.
yeah,
They were
three
3 pins
pins.
on the
Yeah,
country
and
just one game ago.
it seems like that could be 16th and 17th right now. Is only a difference of 3 pins. So yeah, we're set up for an exciting
Last three
last
games,
3 games here when
and
it's
we
all
could
gonna get
say Czech
decided.
Republic still have a chance. Guatemala is not that far, but she's not so happy during the day.
Guatemala having
160,
a
160, 180.
rough go so far today, but yeah, let's hope she can find a little better solution here down the stretch and see if she can make a run at this cut number.
She actually has quite good technique. She's a lefty, one-handed. She's bowled pretty good in terms of technique, but she hasn't found the comfort zone yet. Denmark is happily sitting on the top spot, 211 average.
Let's see here.
It's nearly 42 pins now, actually 42 pins ahead of Costa Rica that gained back to the second spot after the 246. And Germany moved back to top three.
This is
Norway is
Samantha
now 160,
Clifton from
170.
Australia having a really good day today. 210, 235, 226. That is some great work from Samantha right there.
Coming back, definitely.
And she's making her way up the standings, up to 8th place as of right now. That is really good. Really steady bowling from Malaysia so far. 192, 192, 191. And that is, as of right now, all she needs. She is in the cut by about 70 pins right now, so no stress right now there. If she can keep that steady bowling going, she will probably be just fine. Ooh, big four to start there for Maya. And I don't know, maybe she can feel the pressure a little bit of
While you're bowling home,
competing
yeah,
at
bowling
home.
home, bowling at.
She got a lot of family and friends here, so and maybe that is taking a little bit of a toll on her, but see what she can do here at the big four. Yeah, get her count and move on to the next frame.
Wait, watch out for
Yeah,
Norway.
yeah, she started really good, and then 160, 170 game 2 and 3, so she is still doing really good overall, but yeah, I'm sure she will.
But I must say, it was a little bit like that on day 1 and 2 as well. She did very well on usually on games 5 and 6 on the squads on the previous 2 days.
Yeah, I'm sure she will try to find a way here to at least get some good games to finish on a good note today, and bring some good momentum into the continuation of the tournament right here. But yeah, she definitely needs to find a way to manage those changes a little bit better here. Like we said, she started with a 235, so a really good start, but then a little bit of struggle after that. But yeah, once again, 3 pins different between 16th and 17th place as of right now, and it is currently Stella from Finland in the 16th spot, and then we have the Netherlands right below that cut number. Let's see where we have the Netherlands.
It
All
seems
the
to
way to the
me
left.
that
Okay.
maybe since we have a little bit colder weather today, it feels like the lanes are slightly faster than they were yesterday. I see a little bit less of friction coming back from the outside, especially with the girls that are bowling really far outside. It feels like the ball is coming back just a little bit smoother than it did yesterday.
Yeah, you might be right on that.
Maybe wrong as well.
No, but that's another thing that it could definitely make some slight changes to the lanes, of course. The weather. It's a really windy day here in the south of Sweden. We're really close to the ocean, so yeah, the wind is
Some
definitely.
of the humidity may be affecting a little bit as well. I mean, it's a lot of factors. Some people say, "Oh, you're crazy. You talk about too many things," but actually, it's so many things that have, even if it's a very small impact, but when you put them all together,
it can create quite a big difference. That's for sure.
The one that I see on fire at the moment is Germany.
Really nice
She's looking
technique,
very,
really,
very
really
strong.
good.
She started with a little bit of tension on game 1, but then game 2, game 3, she's looking a lot stronger, a lot more consistent.
Yeah, nice, powerful style. Definitely, yeah. She's up to third. Just like you were talking about earlier, she wanted that interview
Yeah, she won the
by
interview at the
you.
very last moment. But she's been out there every day, and now the very last game, she's gonna drop to the 4th, so she can skip my
Yeah, and
interview.
just looking at her,
She just doesn't want to hear my silly questions. I'm sure about
looking at
that.
her scores too, she's been steady and on a really good level so far, and yeah, definitely some impressive work so far.
Yeah, and actually on that 170 game, she missed 2 single pins. She told me yesterday she haven't missed a single pin yet. She was proud about it. So if she
Yeah,
makes
the
the
moment you
interview,
start talking about it, they start to move around
yeah,
for you.
yeah, that's the jinx. That's the jinx. That happens a lot on basketball when you guys look at basketball and they say, "Oh, he has not missed this, a free throw in 3 months." Boom, misses the next one.
Yeah.
And we have definitely some lack of energy today coming around, but nothing that caffeine cannot fix. We'll have a coffee pretty soon.
Yeah. Can't have too much coffee, huh? Ooh, nice break there for the
Yeah,
Netherlands.
that was a nice carry.
Yeah, and like we
Yeah,
said,
Maya
she's
is
right
coming
below
back.
that cut
Maya's
number right
coming
now.
back, huh?
Maya,
Turkey
where do we have? Yeah, that's
after the
good.
open frame.
Big four to start, and then three bagger.
Also the body language when she turned around now, it was like, I'm back.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Maya actually live in the same city as me, so I watch her bowl quite a bit, and I know for a fact that she's definitely not scared of the moment. She seems to handle that just fine at the moment. So nice work from her right there. And let's see, where do we have Finland?
Costa Rica
Yeah,
seems
there we go.
to have found her rhythm as well. First full bagger to begin. She's already deeper than anyone else. Gripping it again. She does it really, really good. She's bowling on lane 5 and 6 at the moment. So we have a nice pair there, 5 and 6, with Costa Rica and Denmark. She's also bowling really, really good.
Yeah, really, really smooth lefty from Denmark. Karen,
It could be
yeah,
Paul Moore, right?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, another
reminds me.
slap in the 7-pin.
Paul Moore,
Great shot.
very good lefty from England in the 90s. He made a lot of money on those years. It was tough to beat him.
Oh, 7-10 for Maya there. That was a tough break. But that's bowling. That is bowling.
Thailand has quite a good release as well.
Thailand. Where do we have?
She just made a shot on lane 14. So probably can see it pretty soon on 13.
Yep.
It says the three that are most similar is United States, Costa Rica, and Thailand in terms of technique as a single-handed. You see, I pay more attention to single hand still because I know I have no
That's
chances
okay.
as a
I'm
two-hander.
just as impressed with the one-handed players that
I'm
I'm
not
just a
bitching about
a fan
two-handers
of
at all.
bowling. I'm just a fan of bowling, so I gotta say I'm really impressed by a lot of these athletes and also on the male side they definitely make me feel like I need to work really hard
Stay up.
to stay up there. There will definitely be
A lot of competition coming.
hunting us
Yeah.
down
Yes.
in a heartbeat.
Yes.
So it's amazing. Yeah, these girls can create some serious power as well.
I think every single one of them has more speed and more reps than I do at the moment.
Yeah, but you're getting old.
I am. More than getting old, I already got old.
Oh, nice messenger there, Philippines. Wow. For a free bag or two,
Good
that's a
spare.
great feeling right there.
Start to see Jenny Norwich starting to move further outside, trying to do what she's done the last couple of days, moving further out, find the friction. But she found too much friction. That shot she just did on lane 4, it jumped immediately as soon as it hit the ground. She's probably going to need to increase the speed over there.
We actually have the front six for Costa Rica now.
Yeah, I said she looks, the body language looks like she's comfortable again.
Great cover from Jenny there. 36910.
That's
Didn't
a
get
very
her
good
this
spell.
time, so
Yes.
that's a good job there. It just brings me back a lot of memories watching this. It's not that long ago when I bowled these kind of championships. I never got to bowl the singles World
The
Cup,
youth
but
one.
just the
Oh, the
opportunity to meet other players from all around the world and make some new friends and you know get the experience of getting out of your country and bowl somewhere else and get a different perspective on the whole game of bowling. I think that is fantastic, and you know the opportunities to meet some new friends, and
I think for
it will
sure
be
that's
lifetime
actually
memories.
the best part of the game. Because when we are younger, we don't really stop to think about it. All we care is trying to win and get more medals and get more records and get more perfect games and whatever. And then when you become older, you realize that the real victory was all the friends that you have done that have been around you for the past, in my case, nearly 25, 30 years.
Yeah, it's amazing, and all the people you get to meet, all the places you get to see. It's it's awesome, and I really hope that all the players that are here
They get
competing,
that same
that they have the same,
opportunity to keep that friendship for many
yeah,
years.
the
And
same feeling of that they, regardless if you bowl good or bad or up to your expectations or not, that they still have a great experience here at the championship. And I feel it makes me proud that the federations are so supportive of their athletes and sending players from Australia, New Zealand,
yeah,
and
yeah.
all over Asia. It's fantastic to see that they all support their athletes enough to
I mean,
send
they
them
are the
across the
future.
world.
They are the future. If we want the bowling to keep going on and growing up and getting better, we need to support the new generations. Okay, you think we're gonna see the first 300 or not on the ladies? We said this morning that probably we will get it today. Let's see. Now is when I jinxed it, yeah.
That's why I'm quiet.
Yeah. So they can blame it on me.
Yes, sir.
And that's why Jesper is a smart bowler as well. Not only a good bowler, but a smart one.
The moment you start talking about it,
I know.
it makes those
I
last
know.
shots so
I
much more
know.
difficult.
It
So that's why
pissed
if I
me
ever
off.
bowl against you, if you start with a double,
Tell
I'm
me
gonna
right away.
start
Yeah.
start
You going for the
start asking you
300?
if you're going for the 300, and I know it will be an easy win. Now, she can't hear us, obviously, so let's just hope that she can at least get this one, the 8th.
Come on.
Wow, that
Work
is
with.
so
That
good.
was amazing.
That is
Yeah.
great. And
Okay,
it
I'm
looks like
saved. She saved. She saved
she's
me. She just saved
into
me.
a reactive ball now, making that move. And it seems to be working just fine. And with the amount of power that she have, she can definitely use that hold that were created by all those urethane balls.
And actually, I must say, the line she's using right now, it reminds me a lot of the guy from Slovakia, a current leader
Yep.
on the boys
Yep.
division. That's a very, very similar line. Main difference, obviously, he was
Ooh.
bowling urethane while she's bowling reactive, but the type of shape of the ball and the line and the position on the lane is pretty similar.
It's for sure impressive. That is for sure. We see Karen from Denmark keeping it really nice and easy, and got a free bagger and a double this game with a few 9 spares in there, so that is really good. She will definitely be to
She's got a 4
count
in
with here
Jenny. She just got a
down the
4.
stretch. Yeah,
So,
still trying to
as I
fish
said,
for that
second
perfect
time in a row
line.
that lane over jumps for her. Lane 4
Oh,
is...
I jinxed Karen. Sorry, Karen, I jinxed you.
yeah.
She just missed the 6 pin. My bad. You should have, for the people that are not currently watching on lane 5 and 6, we have the front 8 for Elena from Costa Rica, and you can take my word for it, it is impressive to watch her play. She can create a lot of speed and rev rate, and it's definitely exciting player to watch. Let's see if she can get the 9th one. She sure can. Wow.
Impressive.
Really,
Impressive
really
bowling.
nice. Front 9, so that means now you will have some time to make your way over to that channel if you want to watch the opportunity for the 300. That will be on lanes 5 and 6.
And it's a good pair to watch because we also have the leader, or the current leader until
Yeah,
now, which is
it's
Denmark,
awesome.
also bowling on that pair. Okay, 16, 17, it was Finland and Netherlands. I'm gonna pay a little bit of attention, see if
Yeah,
I find them.
Netherlands, I see on lane number 3, she's got 2 opens,
2
no
open
doubles.
frames, no double.
And Finland had 1 open and 6
And
pairs in a row,
no
actually. No
strikes, actually.
strikes, but
So,
making them spares definitely keep her
alive.
alive at the moment. And but actually, with both players right around the cut number having some struggles this game, let's see if that can bring
Someone
some
else into play,
other
eh?
players into contention right here.
Mexico was in and she's
Let's
having
see.
a terrible game now with 4 open frames
The lanes are
on
definitely
lane 18.
getting tough on some of the players
Some of
here
the corners
right
are
now.
becoming tough, it looks like.
Um,
At least the 17, 18. We have seen a
yeah,
couple of low
there's
games in a row.
Mexico. Yeah. Tough stretch of frames right there. Um, Aya is finished here with a 202.
That's a nice recovery, yeah.
Nice game for her. Let's see, we have Czech Republic and Guatemala is hunting in 18th and 19th place. Let's see what we have. Czech Republic,
Czech Republic
one
is on
open,
16, I think, yeah?
lane 10 it seems like.
Oh, 10.
No doubles.
We
on
got the 10th
open.
for Costa Rica. 10 in a
There
row.
we go.
From 10. 2 to go.
Got them all. 2 opens. No
And
doubles.
Jenny moved a little bit
One
on
double.
lane 4, so she's got the strike now. But that 4 and 4 is going to be expensive, especially between strikes.
Oh, yeah, that's tough. Luckily, she's been bowling good enough beforehand. She don't have to worry too much about anything other than just trying to find a better way to the pocket here. And yeah, let's see here. Costa Rica on lane number 6, working on the front 10.
Stay,
And
stay,
looks
stay.
good to me.
Good.
Oh, very
11.
nice. Very
1
nice.
to go. We go for 300. Costa Rica.
One more
11 in a
strike.
row now. Lane 5 and 6. So 12 frame. You better speed up. She's about to get into the approach. We just got talking to the bowling manager, so he knows exactly what's going on.
He needs to try and catch this one on his
He's
on
gonna
his
have to
phone.
run. He's gonna have to run. So now if it doesn't work, we have someone to blame on.
No doubt in my mind.
Okay, here we go.
Get this one.
That's the key frame.
Come on, Elena. Let's get it.
Okay, it was out. Hit it.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
magnificent.
10 back. Very,
And
very
we have
nice.
the first 300 on the ladies.
Very,
Unbelievable.
very nice. Very nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, she's got the game, man. She's got the power, she's got the technique, she's got the attitude. She bowls really good. On my next live, I'll be happy to bowl like her.
Me too.
Even if it bowls using the thumb?
Yeah. 100%.
Why not?
100%. I love all the bowlers. You know that.
Okay, so obviously Costa Rica is going to jump into the first place now. She was 57 behind, but she shot 300. Denmark shot 215. So 15 and 57, that's 72. She's going to be on the lead by 28 pins. Denmark's going to be second. Germany, I think, is going to jump a little bit farther away from the fourth position. She's got, what was she? Over there, she's got a Turkey, 9 strike, 9 strike. Solid game again. She's throwing on lane 12 now. Two 7, bit short in the pocket. Okay, Jenny saved the spur, so the game is not going to be that bad.
174 strike on the field.
I mean, with a 5-2 and a 4-4, it could have been
that
an
4-4 in
expensive,
between strikes are definitely
That's
costing her a lot that game, but I'm thinking I might actually go out there and watch
Sure.
out there. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to follow the action in here with you for the first few games here, the first 4 games. Time flies when you have fun, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was lovely also for the viewers to have the pleasure to be spending some time with such a big superstar. Thank you
Yeah,
so
it's
much
nice. I said it yesterday. It's always tough to when we get caught up talking about random bowling stuff, but I hope it keeps it somewhat interesting as you can keep watching what's going on the lanes. We try to do the best we can here to keep it interesting for everybody. Yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna go out there and watch the last couple of games.
Time to go root some for Maya as well.
Yeah, she seems to be cruising just fine right now. 200 game here, game 4. That is definitely a good game as of right now. It seems like the lanes are definitely being a little rough on the girls right now. But yeah.
2 games to go. Let's see what happens. We thank Jesper so much for his company and all the comments and all the spectacular things. We learned a lot with you, buddy, so we appreciate. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank
We'll
you,
carry
guys.
on. A couple of games to go.
It's like this, or
Will it be closer? See?
that's fine.
All right, here we go again. Slightly change. We let Jesper go have some fun. I mean, we thank him very much for spending 4 games with us, commentating and learning a lot of him. We got a lot of tips and so. And now we have another very, very special person, a very good friend of mine, a superstar in Sweden, Mr. Pontus Andersson.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Pontus. Thank you for being here with us.
It's fun. It's fun for sure.
It's been a fun day so far. Scores are pretty high. We just had a 300 game on Costa Rica, which was impressive to see. She really has a good shot.
Yeah, she throws it so well. Me and her coach Nathan was kidding that our reps combined, he's bowling on tour as well, that she has more than us. Even if we put our reps together, like she throws it so good.
I just actually told Jesper I wouldn't mind on my next live. Shoot, the way she's doing, it's unbelievable. Elena Weinstock. She's got 57.9 strike rate so far, 72.4 in spare rate, and I must say it's not higher because, especially yesterday on the second squat, she had a bit of an issue. I spoke to her and she started with the urethane, then she had to move to the reactive, but she was forced to be a little bit further outside yesterday. And of course, when you have a pearl bowl that far outside, it's going to be a little bit sensitive. So it was a lot of strike, but there was some open frames as well. But she has a wonderful recovery today. She had not a very good first game, but as soon as she got on track, man, she can bowl.
Yeah, I think it's like just the last 2 games with 246 and 300. It's just a lot of strikes and very impressive to do.
546. How many people is watching right now and they have never shot 546 in 2 games? Okay, we have a lot of things to comment now. Top 16, it's currently Mexico. She had a terrible, terrible last game of 131, but she had been bowling pretty good on the previous game, so she's still on the cut. Actually by 4 pins to Netherlands. Netherlands is currently out of the cut. And then we have the Czech Republic, it's 40 pins behind the cut. Even Guatemala is 50 pins behind. After that it's Belgium, it's a little bit further away. So I think we still have 3 players out of the cut that still could make it into the cut if they have a couple of good high games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure to see what the girls can pull off these last couple of games. It's going to be very close, I think.
I mean, for you guys that don't know, Pontus is beyond a great bowler. He's also a super coach.
Yeah.
You're working a lot in Nässjö, right? That's the Swedish bowling school?
Yes, we have a thing called the Swedish Bowling Academy. It's for a big school for high school people in Sweden, where they usually move away from home, move to my city, and they attend school and have bowling as an actual class combined when they do everything else in school as well.
So for those who are not in Europe, And you've heard a lot about Wichita. It's like very popular. Everybody likes to go to Wichita University, bowl for them. But we have the same thing in Europe, and we have the same thing in Sweden. In a way, it's more or less we could call it the European Wichita, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more like the only thing that's different is that we do it on a high school level, and a lot of the people that you might have seen sometimes during the championships throughout the years has usually gone to Nässjö. It's we usually have like between 50 to 70% of the people that's been going. Like a couple of people the last couple of years you might know is, for example, Robin Ilhammer has gone there.
Hmm.
Um, Jesper Svensson has also gone there. I've gone there. Among the girls is Nora Johansson, Anna Andersson. Well, we have yeah, it's a lot of people
You have a
throughout the
lot of big
years.
names passing through over there, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, now I found my excuse. That's why I never was that good enough. I never was in Nässjö.
yeah, it would have been hard to have me as a coach when you needed to go to school.
But what I mean is that definitely Pontus knows what we're talking about. He knows about the game. He knows about both boys and girls. He's used to help them. He's used to coach them. He's used not to only compete. So whatever he's going to command and whatever he sees through his eyes is going to be good commentary. And as we did with Jesper, if you guys want to pop up any questions, we're going to be more than happy to answer. And you can do any comments you want on Facebook and stuff. I mean, we're here for all of you guys. That's the main idea, the promotion of bowling. That's the main reason for this kind of event. Uh, World Youth Cup. I mean, that was my favorite event on the year. The World Cup, when it was Cubica World Cup, that was always beautiful because we used to share rooms with bowlers from other countries. So that always made sure that you met someone new, and then you always went home. Even when I've been at the top on the World Cup, or even when I missed the cut at the World Cup, it was a very special event. And I believe that we can have these kind of things in the youth as well. It's fantastic. It gives them a place to develop their game, develop their skills, compete against the best bowlers from the other countries, but also make friends for the
Uh,
rest of the life.
yeah, I've been very fortunate to bowl these youth championship for quite a while. My youth championship experience was between 2012 and 2016, so it was a while ago. But I got a lot of my friends throughout those years, and it made it way easier to wanting to travel and compete more, and especially try to beat the best.
Cool. Okay, we got some comment up here. Let's see what it says. Paul Moore in the 90s. You've done him dirty there. More like 2000s. Okay, maybe. I don't know. You know, I have a very short memory. I don't really remember when. Yeah, maybe you're right, because back in the late 90s, I was the one that was impossible to beat down in the south of Europe. So probably Paul was a little bit later. It was when I retired. I retired in 2002. I took a big break. I stood away from bowling for about 10 years, something like that. And yeah, probably that's when Paul used the time when I was away.
Yeah, Paul been striking a lot
Just kidding,
throughout the
of course.
years.
Just kidding. No, but honestly, Paul was terrific. I mean, when he found the spot, he started doing strikes, and it felt like he just pressed the autopilot on the
Oh
plane.
yeah, just like
He just pressed the
press and
autopilot,
repeat,
and it
and then
was
it was
like,
like, okay, strikes
okay,
a lot.
okay, see you later. We're all gonna fight for the second spot now. So who was that said that? Richard Tees? Was it Richard? Aha! So he's watching. Another big joker. Oh, he's sending a big hack to Richie. Hope we meet again soon, buddy. Maybe for the lucky Larson. I hope you're gonna be up here and I can give you a big hack. We can have some fun together. We can talk about Paul a little longer. Okay, back to the girls, back to the action. We have on lane 3 and 4, the lefty. She's killing it again from Denmark. She's on top 2 at the moment, but she started with a spare and 4 in a row. Then we have, let's see, oh, Maya, she's struggling a lot now. 4 open frames in
In the
4 out of 5.
first, yeah, she has
And
54 and
actually with
fifth.
couple of single pins meets. Maybe she's got some issue with the thumb or something. That's not really normal on her, is it?
No, her spare game is usually very good. We'll see if she can manage to mark some frames at the end of the game. Try to save this one.
Well, she's a very strong competitor, so I mean, probably she had just, you know, lost a bit of focus for a couple of shots, whatever. She's gonna make it back pretty quickly.
Yes, for sure. And I don't think there's no reason to panic. I think she
Oh, we
was
got an
like,
answer from Richie. He says he's definitely gonna be here up at the Lucky Larson. It's gonna
yeah.
be fun to meet you, buddy. Actually, since we're talking about the Lucky Larson, it's one of those events that you don't want to miss.
Oh no, it's great.
It's
I
amazing,
love the
right?
Lucky Larson. I've been competing in it in every year since it started.
And I think it would be fair to say that almost any event going on in Olympia Bowling Alley in Helsingborg, you don't want to miss. It's a very special town, very special bowling alley.
Yeah, it's usually showing the best side of Sweden for sure, with usually great weather, great food, and well, Patrick always has something up in his sleeve, so it always
You can always
ends up
expect
having
some
some fun here.
surprises. There's some surprises. Something else is gonna happen
Yes,
beyond whatever it says.
I
And
usually
usually
have a
it's fun,
great time
fun
here.
stuff. Okay, let's see how is it going.
We're gonna see. We have the girl from Mexico is recovering a little bit and trying to make a better game. Who else is
Netherlands was
around the
there.
cut?
Where's Netherlands?
She's on 5 and 6, I think. Yeah, she has a double, spare double.
So they are fighting it now. It's getting
It's
tight between the two of them.
Yeah, it's getting closer to the cut. Uh,
All right, so we have
the Finnish
Costa
girl
Rica is on top.
15th, I
Denmark's in second position. Germany, she's doing very well today again. She's on third place. She's only 80 pins ahead of top two, so it's not that far away. Colombia is still managing to be up there, 40 pins short to top three. Norway, 50 pins short to top three, even if she had 160, 170, 170. She has been struggling a little bit, but so has she on the previous couple of squats, and she somehow manages to bowl a lot better on game 5 and 6. Let's see if today is the case again. She told me yesterday what she has done at the end of the squat. She was moving further outside, shooting it a little bit firmer, and just using the friction out there.
think in going into 1.5 more games, I think the countries to look out for is Finland, Mexico, Netherlands, or Czech Republic. These are the girls that will be very close to making the cut or not.
Now it's also a little bit of mental stability, and don't let the pressure take control over your shots. Make
Yes,
sure you don't miss any spares. You don't want to give away any pins at the moment.
just take an extra breath, stay patient, just try to hit the pocket.
I cannot say anything about being patient because I was never patient. So anyone listening that knows me is going to go, what are you talking about? I have to be honest with that.
Oh yeah. Oh, we all been there for sure.
Oh,
Where you're
there's
kind
Germany
of
on lane 9-10. She's working on strike 9, strike 9-9, and a double.
and there's a spare on Maya.
In USA, I thought she was going to go all the way up, but she seems to be struggling a little bit again today. It's 4 games, 1 250, but the other 3 are 170, 160, 170. I wonder what is happening with her. Maybe found a little bit of weirder transition than she expected.
Yeah, I think if you look at all the bowlers that are doing very, very well are using more the friction to the outside. Because it's very, very dry out there, so the ball hooks every time. So the people that really, really uses it, they usually have a tendency to get a lot of strikes.
Yeah, sometimes I think that's one of the issues when they start bowling with the urethane and they move a little bit deeper. Unless they make sure that the breakpoint remains far outside,
Yes.
the ball's not going to carry. The ball's not going to hit the pins with enough energy, and it's just going to deflect. they're gonna have a lot of weak tens and stuff like that. And then on the other hand, if they change to the reactive and they send it too far outside, then it may become a little bit too sensitive and
Yeah,
become a little bit over under over under.
yeah,
So if you don't really have a perfect idea on what you're doing, it's very easy that you get confused and you get yourself into a bit of a trouble.
oh yes, for sure. On in this week, it's looked like some people have different strategies how to strike a lot, and like for example, it's both a mix of reactive and urethane, but at the end of the day, they just need to figure out what they need to do, follow the transition, get the information of what the ball is telling them, and just keep on bowling.
We have definitely seen more reactive balls on the lady squads than on the boys squads.
Oh, for sure. The boys are so good nowadays at just manipulating speed, how they release the ball, and trying to get that urethane to work still.
But what they are not so good, it's on sparing.
Uh, there's definitely improvements
I
for
keep
a lot
saying
of
that.
people
They're
out
all
there.
gonna hate me when they get back home and they listen to the commentary. Like, why is he keep telling that we? It's because you don't really spare that good. That's the one thing you need to
I,
improve, guys. Because then when you go to a tougher patterns and you only strike 3 or 4 times per game and you have to spare 6 times per game, you're gonna get in trouble.
yeah, I think a couple of years ago it was way more common that we didn't strike as much as we do nowadays. People strike a lot more now compared to 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, the spare games was way more important. Everybody made their spares way better. But nowadays, you can just strike your way through it. But they are very, very good at it. So
And the way you're saying that, you're making me feel like a grandpa already.
yeah, I start to feel old in this company
You
too.
start to feel
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
grandpa as well? Not a grandpa,
yeah.
but old.
Older for
Like a senior.
sure.
You're going all
I've
the
been
way to
very,
the
very
senior.
happy when
But how
some.
old are you now? 30?
I'm turning 30 this year,
30.
but
You're
30.
still 29.
Yes.
My God, lucky you.
Um, I've been
29.
very, very happy this week because some people think I'm younger than I'm actually am, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, you must
I'm
be
gonna live.
happy.
I'm gonna live for that
You
for
gotta
a
be
long, long
real
time.
happy. It took me 3 razors to shave all my small white
Oh shit!
head.
Yeah,
It's why white hair on my head, so I can look a little bit younger,
yeah.
just a little bit younger. Then you look at yourself in the mirror and say, "What happened? Where did all that hair go?" All right, I see what's going on. Colombia is not really finding the spot as easily as she found on day one. She had the same issue yesterday when transition came up. She wasn't really finding the carry. It looks like she's been bowling reactive, although she bowls for storm, so she's definitely not going to use the proper hammer. And it looks like the ball is doing a little bit of waffling down the lane. And as I said just a little bit, a few minutes ago, as soon as she sends it a little bit further outside, it becomes sensitive. Over, under, over, under. Now she made a really good job just to shut me up. That usually happens when you're talking
Sure,
on TV.
sure. I'll
But
show you. You're wrong. You're wrong, Lewis.
what are you talking about? Actually, she would say, ¿De qué estás hablando? That's what she would say, actually.
Yeah, my Spanish isn't that good.
No worries, no worries. Probably some
I'll s-
Spanish
I'll stay
listening
for
out there.
Swedish.
They're gonna agree with me. Like, yeah, she would probably tell you, shut up. I managed to say it without any bad words. You see, pretty good. I'm getting better. I'm growing mature as well. Okay,
How's the girl from Netherlands, the Rosanne? Oh, she can get to 230 this game. She's on lane 5 and 6.
that's gonna make a move up for sure.
Definitely for sure. We have Mexico.
Mexico.
She's on
If she
15,
doubles,
16.
she still can make 200. So that's
Stella
okay.
from Finland can shoot
And
200 if she spares this one. And
definitely
doubles the
something
last
is
frame.
happening with Maya. She's got 4 misses, 3 single pins missed on this game. And
Yes.
that's not something you really expect from her. So let's hope it's not something about injury or a cut in the
No,
thumb or
might be one of those things, like you said, like just try to stay patient for one more game. Just don't let you panic.
Don't
Just
panic. I mean, she's still 117
yes,
ahead of Mexico, which is now the cut.
for sure.
So even with a low game, she's still gonna be 50 or 60 pins
Yeah,
ahead of the cut.
she's gonna be in the cut for sure still. I think just the last game trying to do one shot at a time, just take an extra breath.
That was a very good double for Colombia. Can save the 190 or nearly 190 when you don't really find it to still make 190. That's a very good game.
And there we got a strike from Maida.
Was that a purple hammer?
Yes.
Looked like she moved a little bit deeper. Maybe that's what she was missing. Move a little bit deeper, find a little bit of oil, so when the ball hits the friction, it still has the energy to come back stronger. And Australia is fighting all the way up. She was quite lost. She's coming back, and now she's all the way up to 7th place. And she's still doing good games. Look at the last series. 245, 227, 210, 235,
Oh,
226,
that's
209.
yeah,
And
that's
she's going
impressive.
for another 200 game now.
We have
That's a lot of 200 games in a row.
we have Hannah from Ireland on lane 9 and 10 shooting a 240 as well.
Where is she standing now?
She was 14th going into this one.
14th, so
She's definitely making
I
her
guess
spot.
it's fair to say that the people from Ireland are happy to have Chris in the house, right? Chris Lowe. And as soon
Well,
as he arrived, things seem to have start to work a little bit better for both the boy and the girl in Ireland.
yeah, it's almost like he's knows a thing or two about
He may
bowling.
know a little bit, yeah. And I'm surprised none of them is throwing the ball 60 feet down the lane yet.
No, that's usually his thing.
Yeah, you can see we have comments for everyone and everybody.
Yeah, no one's safe, right?
Nobody is safe. Nobody's safe. Okay, I found. You see Denmark. Every time you find Denmark, it doesn't matter. She has a couple of open frames. She still managed to make 210 at least.
Yeah, that's very solid.
And the same goes for Germany. Another very strong game. She's on. If she doubles, she's another game for 220 something. So she's gonna move up, I think.
So Ivana from Mexico, yes, did 191. The Rosan from Holland is shooting 207 with a strike in the fill frame. Yeah, they're gonna be very close to each other going into the last game.
Yeah, it was just 19 pins difference, and that's pretty much
I think it's gonna
what they're
be,
taking one from the other now.
yeah, I think Rosan is gonna be 2 pins ahead if she strikes in the fill frame going into the last game.
Yeah, the last game is going to be quite interesting. There's going to be some emotions going on, excitement, but that's what we like. For those who say the bowling is not that exciting, well, it depends on when you're watching.
Oh, for sure. And it's a lot of hard work behind all of these 18 games. All the youths have bowled.
And if we have somebody watching that really they are not into the sport and they're not really into bowling and they say, this is not really a sport, let me tell you, it is a sport. It is very complicated. It requires a lot of practice. It requires a lot of sacrifice. We have to do a lot of workout besides the main training of the sport. And it's a sport of repetition. I mean, we need to have certain technique. We need to have certain abilities. We need to become kind of automatic machines. And that takes a lot of hours. I mean, I'm not going to say we train 10 hours a day like some of the Olympic sports, but definitely we practice a lot more than football players or basketball players, to put an example out there. We should make as much money as Messi is doing. Why am I not as rich as Lionel Messi? I mean, after all, I'm a big name in Barcelona, as big as he was. Not only that, I've been big on the sport and I've been big as a DJ, so I should have twice the money that Leo Messi has, but I don't have it.
Uh, for sure.
And I should have some money for being a joker as well. So that makes it 3 times the money already.
Comedian as well, huh?
Comedian,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Don't you see the week I had the other day on?
This is all the Louis show. Welcome to the Louis Bowling Show, everyone.
We had the David Letterman show, we had the Jay Leno show, we have Randy Peterson, and now you're gonna have me. You think Randy's watching?
Oh, for sure.
What's up, Randy?
Just listening.
We love your comments, just so you know. I know some people make fun of you, but don't listen to them. It's the same people that talks bad about the two-handed bowling.
Oh, wait. Bro, Sana is 11 pins ahead of Ivana going into the last game. And then
Please, get in.
Stella from Finland is 1 pin ahead of Rosanne.
So it's gonna be Finland, Netherlands, and Mexico.
That's
The three of
probably.
them are probably gonna.
Then it's 50 pins up to Maya on 14th place from Sweden. After Ivana, she has about 60 pins down to 18th place. So I think it's going to be 3 girls for 2 spots.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I wish I would say the contrary, but I think the Czech Republic already 61 pins down when she has the last 3 games around 170, 180. I don't really expect her to just find a miraculous line all of a sudden and make it 270 or 280. But you never know. Bowling is a very...
It can happen anything.
Yeah, it can happen anything up till the very last frame. That's why you guys need to learn to fight until the very, very last shot. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, Mexico strikes.
Ooh, starts with a strike.
And that looked like the body language was, I'm going for it.
Oh, yeah.
She really looked like I'm going for it.
We have Finland on lane 15.
Oh,
Starting with a
all the way
strike.
to full spot. Singapore moved up, yeah? All the way up to 4th place, I think.
Yep, 235.
235 and Colombia 170, so that was the jump.
Yeah.
And Jen is still holding out there, even if she's 1, 2, 3, 4 games in a row below 200. Okay, where is Finland? I haven't found her yet.
Lane 15. Started with a strike.
15. Oh, 15. So actually, Mexico and Finland are gonna control each other because they're bowling pretty close, one to the other one.
I have the girl from Holland on lane 7.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think when things are so tight, actually to find an easier or a tougher pattern, it can also be a factor at this moment. There's a lot of tension there. Cuts like a knife.
Oh, definitely.
I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't like to be on their spot at this moment. It's been so long I haven't bowled anything serious. I don't feel I would like to enjoy the pressure at the moment.
Well, this is also the difference to both 15 more games. So it's a big cut and still have the possibility to crown World Cup youth champion.
No, I mean, and that's it. If you want to win something, you have to fight for it. You have to suffer it. Nothing comes for granted. So definitely you need to suffer if you want to get up there.
And the important thing is just to get in the top 16, then everything tomorrow starts from zero. Oh, Stella from Finland got a double.
Way, not a good frame for Maya at 6. Hopefully she can spare and she just stabilize her mind.
Yes.
Because if she starts getting open frames again, like on the previous game, then it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, she started off pretty good with a 9 spare strike, so hopefully she gets a mark here and just moves on.
Yeah, that's a good spare.
That's
Very
a spare.
spare.
So just
very important.
One shot at a time. Elena from Costa Rica just making the pins fly so much.
She's amazing.
Oh yeah.
She's got so much power. I was actually having some attention to lane 7-8. Germany's playing there. She felt like the body language was like she made a good shot, but the ball jumped instantly to the left. She had a Brooklyn, and she turned around trying to find her coach like, what just happened there?
Yeah.
Now we see Scotland throwing on that same lane. It hooked pretty early. It looks like lane 7 has broken up a little bit on the heads.
Stella from Finland started with a free bagger, so she wants to secure her spot for sure.
She definitely wants to stay in.
Yeah.
And Costa Rica seems to be very comfortable again. She's just moved in, swinging out with all that power. I mean, must be easy. Just go in, let it go out there, and the ball's gonna do the rest.
Yeah, it's when I watch her bowl, it's more like the only thing she needs to do is try to match up with the transitions and how the lanes are changing, and then it's just repeat, repeat, repeat.
Okay, I lost Netherlands. What was Netherlands playing?
7 and 8.
7 and 8. 7 and 8, right. And she's working on spare strike and looking for another spare. So it looks like Netherlands and Mexico at the moment are gonna fight for that last spot since Finland has.
Yeah, she's Stella is like 20 pins before them, so she's got a little bit of advantage.
She's got a bit of advantage, and now she's got 3 to begin the game with. So.
And Maya, that was 50 pins ahead, has started with 4 marks, so she's just staying safe.
Yeah. Keep it steady. Don't do anything crazy. Should be safe. I think definitely Jenny from Norway, she's happy she had a lot of pins from yesterday, because today she seems to be struggling a little bit. 160, 170, 170, 180, and now she's currently with an open frame again.
That's for sure. When you're in so much ahead like she was after 2 days, it's more, is she going in to have the same game plan, or is she trying new stuff? Going into round robin, or yeah, just trying to get as much information as possible
I'm
going
not
into the
really sure
next
if they are
round.
testing something new. It doesn't really look like she. From what we see, I mean, obviously, it's a lot easier to see when you're in front of the lanes, not so much on a screen. But it seems to be like she's trying to do the same thing that worked yesterday and the day before. She's quite far outside, trying to shoot it a little bit harder. But some lanes are overreacting, and some lanes are not really hooking back. You see, she's pretty far out there.
Yeah. Now she got a strike.
Yep.
So Rosanne from Netherlands just had 2 opens in a row, so that gives Ivana from Mexico a little bit of advantage going into the second half of the game.
And Ivana has, in fact, quite a simple outside game. She's bowling pretty much on the spot that seems to be working in here today. And she has a solid high-speed shot. So I wouldn't expect Ivana to get into a very big mess at any point. I mean, she's hitting the head pin, taking the spare here, strike from time to time. It's getting tough. It's getting tough. And it's only 11 pins between the two of them right before this game. So it's gonna be pretty tight. It looks like Costa Rica is gonna keep the top or leading position. She's got 3 strikes and a couple of spares. And Denmark is on the 6th frame with 1 open frame, no double yet. And there was a few pins of distance between them. So it looks like Costa Rica is going to stay on top. And actually, depending on how high or low the game goes on Denmark and Germany, that's the only thing that I could see happening up there. Maybe Germany jumping all the way up to the 2nd place. She's working on a 4-bagger.
Maya from Sweden just marking her frames. Almost safe now to make top 16.
Now every spare is super important. So finally the game is coming to what I've been saying for the last 3 days. You need to spare.
Spares are always good.
Split for Germany. That's gonna stop her from jumping into the 2nd place.
Stella throws another strike. She's still 20 pins ahead of Ivana and almost 30, 40 pins ahead of Rosanne.
Where is Singapore, by the way? She also
Lane
had the chance
6.
to...
Lane 6.
Lane 6. Yeah, there she is.
And it's a lot of strikes on 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Sophia from Guatemala has started with front 6 as well.
Sophia wasn't that far away. She just had a lot of hitches on day 1.
She's 70 pins out?
70 pins.
That's
And
manageable when you start with a front six.
Yep,
Oh,
absolutely.
is she making a run for it?
Especially if Netherlands and Mexico don't go.
If they don't shoot too high now, then that's definitely
That would
possible.
be quite a jump into the cut at the very last game.
Oh, she was almost 80
80,
pins
78.
until Rosan. Yeah, but right. Okay, now she left the 7 pin. But as of now, she's almost took 50, 60 pins, so it's not that
It's not
much.
that far away.
No,
4 frames to go.
that's manageable.
You make 4 in a row. They don't double or they even make miss.
No.
You're up there.
Now this got exciting.
Maya just playing safe now.
Oh yeah. Now she's just marking her frames,
yeah,
making
that's
sure
gonna be
she
enough
gets
for
to
her.
bowl.
It's gonna be more than
Yes,
enough
for sure. Very happy for both her and Robin. Get to bowl more.
Got even further out this time. Now she was really out. I'm talking about Norway, Jenny. Okay, a very important shot for Stella, Finland. Strike here would be.
Yeah,
she's got the strike. She's looking.
she's
really
definitely
deeply.
locking in her spot.
She's gonna secure her spot pretty soon. Yeah.
It's more how
Costa
much.
Rica continues to play on the league on her own.
Rosan is making it a bit hard for herself. So right now it's looking very good for Ivana, but it all depends on how much Sofia from Guatemala is going to strike as well.
Netherlands is definitely getting into issues.
Yeah, Sofia got another strike from Guatemala. So she's on a 279 pace.
I mean, look at that. Netherlands got 79 on the 6th frame, and Guatemala, it's already on 189. So she's got 100 pins
100
in
and
7 frames.
110 pins in 7
So
frames.
she's already ahead of Netherlands. So now the fight is between Mexico, which is throwing the ball now, looking for a double, and she get a double. This is becoming very tight. It's getting better than the PBA, guys.
So, to make everything easy, right? If Sofia strikes out for 279, which is a massive game, Ivana needs to shoot 202 to take the spot in top 16.
Yeah. And Finland is making her job in.
Yes.
Maya is making her job in. So that's going to make Netherlands fall down. And it's all about, yeah, as you said, it's going to be between Mexico and Guatemala. Everything is going to be between Spanish countries.
Rosan can still strike out for 199. Holland. We'll see if that's enough, but then she needs it all.
She definitely needs to strike out if she wants to survive this. Okay.
It's getting tight.
Okay. Even I'm feeling the pressure now. I'm starting to move on the chair, you guys. I'm getting excited. This is looking very fun. Ooh, solid 7 for Finland. But only 2 frames to go. If she spares, she's gonna be on. Mexico, as she goes for a solid 10.
Solid 10 pin.
Okay, now we're talking, as we said, how freaking important is to spare. I think she really wants to spare now. You don't want to leave that pin there.
Maya strikes another time.
she got it.
She got it.
Easy.
Still looking pretty good for Ivana. She's on a 2:03 pace right now with a strike, 9 spare strike.
31.88. So it was 78 pins between Ivana and Guatemala.
Yeah, we're gonna see if she gets another one on lane 5.
Key shot for her. And she has it.
She
My.
nails it. She
This
nails
is
it.
getting really hot.
Now,
This is on fire. So if Sofia strikes out 279, Ivana needs 202, Rosanne would need 191.
and I think Rosanne only can get to 179 if she strikes out in the 9th and 10th right
Rosanna
now.
has issues at the moment. I mean, if we had to say, probably Ivana is the one that has it more easy at the moment, if nothing else happens. Because...
but hey, an 8 spare, then you're on pace that you need to double in the last frame.
But you still force Guatemala to strike out.
Oh yeah,
for a 279,
for sure,
which is not easy.
Yeah.
Well, it's only the 10th frame, but I wouldn't like to be there.
We'll see what happens. Sofia from Guatemala striking.
Crucial frame. Crucial frame. Missed in.
She gets a strike. It falls.
Mamma mia! How about that? She tripped a 4-pin on a Brooklyn as a lefty. My God.
Oh, and Ivana strikes. Well. Ivana needs a spare 9 in the last frame to get the spot.
Oh my God.
If Sofia strikes out.
Jesus.
Is she striking another one? Is it happening again?
268.
268. Okay,
268,
so
that means
68. Then she needs 193, right?
She needs Ivana to miss. If Ivana marks, Mexico is gonna make it into the final. But amazing comeback for Guatemala.
Yeah, what a
right?
when you're 80 pins behind the cut.
My God. I have to clap my hands for it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That was a very beautiful comeback. Fighting until the very, as we said, you have to fight until the very, very end. You never know what's gonna happen.
So everybody can check out lane 13, 14. Ivana's gonna bowl lane 13 in
right?
just a while, and she needs a mark to make it.
Yeah, Finland is in easy. Maya made a double on the 10th.
Yes.
To secure her spot as well. And there was no one else that could drop down because there were... Who was 14?
Maya. Maya was 14th and she was 50 pins ahead.
And Malaysia, yeah, that was... Malaysia was 3 pins by 18, that was 50 pins ahead. We started the day with the cut being at 190.9, and it looks like it's gonna be pretty much the same or pretty close to what it was. Oh, I saw a 5.7 on lane 13. For a moment I thought it was Ivana, but no.
Oh no.
It's that would have been a dramatic end.
Oh, by the way, Elena from Costa Rica has shot another 240.
She's playing in a league on her own.
She's having fun this week.
So she's going to be in the top, and Denmark's going to be number 2. I have lost her.
Probably.
Yeah, 191 on lane 17, 18. So that's going to secure her second place.
Okay, so let's see if Ivana makes a mark on lane 13.
Yeah, that's gonna
This is a mark to make it to the next step. Top
16 up here. Looks good. Missed a little bit in.
Oh,
That's a good eight.
that's a good
very
eight.
good eight.
That's a
isn't
very
it?
good eight.
Because the 3-6-10 would have been not the spirit I would like to have.
No,
Yeah.
not
No.
at this moment.
Not
I'd
at
rather
this
take the 3-6.
Yeah.
She's been very clutch on her spares for the whole game. Let's see if she can do it for one more frame. Ooh, she
chopper.
got it.
Ooh, the chopper was so close. 193. That's what she needed, right? So he just.
She gets the 203 with a strike in the
That's what I
fill.
mean.
Yeah.
All she has to make sure is she doesn't step on the foul line and hit one pin.
Yeah, she needed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's already in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Felicidades, Ivana. Buen trabajo para México. Viva México. She's gonna make it onto the very last spot.
I'll just stick with vamos.
Vamos. That's gonna work.
That's what I
That's
do.
gonna work as well.
Muy bien.
Muy bien, exactly. Great job for her. I mean, she was out of the tournament from the very beginning. She just kept crawling up, crawling up, crawling up. Wow, impressive, impressive. What a day of bowling. It has been unbelievable.
It gets intense, for sure.
It gets to you. A nice and another 220 game also for Germany. She's going to secure top 3. Very solid. Started with 170, then 220, 220, 220, 220, 220. These girls can bowl.
Yes.
These girls definitely can bowl.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of talent out there today. It's been mesmerizing.
And tomorrow, when it's round robin format, it's going to be very exciting to see.
It's going to be fun to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. We want to thank Pontus Andersson, Jesper Svensson. He was here also before with us. Thank you very much, Pontus.
Thank you. It was great.
Appreciate you having here. We learned a lot with you guys, and it's very fun.
Everybody, welcome back to the Lewis Show.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back at some point. Time for us to go and get some interviews from the top 3. And stick around, you ladies and gentlemen. It's all for the good of bowling. We love you, and I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bra.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture also.
Tack så jättemycket. Ja.
You're going to go do it.
Jo, vi måste. Vi måste jobba lite nu.